without further ado, we're going to get started. All right, I'm going to read a brief synopsis, and if you have a drink, I like Ivar's style. I do salute thee this fine evening. May the D&D gods smile fondly upon each of you. Bottoms up. Oh, and as they say in Nimrion, beware the dark.
Beware the dark.
Beware the dark.
All right. Fitting, darkness has fallen on the land of Nimrion. The year is 665 PC, post-cataclysm. The lands have shifted and sundered. Great mountains have sprung into existence. The Sylvan peoples have departed for the Northlands, giving up their ancestral homes, and many of the Fae folk are no more, or are at least in hiding. The age of man has arrived. The old gods are mysteriously distant, and the faithful have not heard their voices in several hundred years. There are also whispers of war and of dark, malevolent presences from the beyond, and the corners of the world that have begun to influence and encroach upon the realms of Nimrion and the realms of Suristir across the water. The great tower of Duristir is no more. The dwarves have abandoned their gilded halls beneath the mountains and have taken to the seas of Hilo and Perv as privateers and merchants, forming almost a cultural bridge between the continents of Nimrion and Suristir. Wherever humans move to in Nimrion, they build. Massive cities, massive fleets, massive weapons of war. They explore and they conquer and strip the land of its magic and resources. The other diverse peoples of Nimrion and Suristir have founded havens for themselves and are distrustful of outsiders. That is not to say there is no hope. Like sparks in a dying fire, there are heroes that have risen to the challenge to confront the evils of this world. Some heroes have been broken, while others persevere, defying evil and injustice in their own ways. Your story begins in the capital city of Ashcaleen, where King Gleef Amberland is afield with his armies, and Queen Nyla Lee has just made her move. And here we are. It is the dead of night. The city of Ashcaleen has, at this point, for the most part, closed down. As all of you are aware, the gates of the city are closed. No one is allowed to exit the city. At this point, Nesca, we find you just as you're about to enter the Inn of the Sleepy Nook. Okay, you see the screen here? You see the map? The Sleepy Nook is located within the Salt Ford, which, as you know, is the bustling industrial district of the city. It is where the majority of commerce takes place, as goods and massive shipments of minerals and all sorts of foodstuffs are offloaded from the ships and then produced and sold within the Salt Ford. Nesca, I'm going to need you to give me a perception check.
Straight off the bat. Perception, 19.
Perception, sorry.
What did I say?
I thought you said deception.
Oh, no, perception, still 19.
Perception,
Yeah.
19, yes. As you have your hands around the lever of the door to open and head into the inn, you feel a chill on the back of your neck. And your hood being down, you pause at the door as you hear heavy, heavy footsteps behind you. What do?
I'm going to slink, make myself a little bit smaller, and dart out of the way.
Dart out of the way. Okay. As you dart out of the way, you see a hulking, armored figure. Ivar, I'm going to need you to describe your character.
So, just
filled with his armor of combat, who has seen many, many battles, has many scars, many dents. Ivar has a rugged look, scars upon his face, a heavy expression, and a very prominent sword slung to his back, which seems to have an obsidian blade. He's walking toward the inn, his gaze down as he seems to be lost in thought. And so with that heavy energy, he just carries on.
Give me a perception check of Ivar.
18.
Ivar, you are striding from the Starry Nest district. It's a little bit of a walk that you've made from your holy place that you've erected in the Starry Nest. It has been a long period of weeks for you as you've been talking to all of the many peoples that you've encountered in the Starry Nest district, all of the people of a religious persuasion, followers of all of the different gods. And it is at this point feeling a little bit discouraged as you've encountered some bad news over the last couple of days. Certain individuals that you've shared the news of your God with them. For whatever reason, you're not able to find them. And so the Inn of the Sleepy Nook, where one of them was one of the barmaids there that you mentioned or you had spoken with about your God. She had at one time offered you a free night's stay. And it's at this point, as you're entering, you suddenly see a slinky figure sort of move and dart away from the front door as they're turning to face you and you see them sort of like catch a glimpse of your face. Describe for me, Nesca, what you look like.
There's a fully cloaked, fully hidden slim figure. There's dark maroon red pants that are embroidered with different swirls and patterns of other shades of red and black. The upper half of the outfit is obscured by a heavy black cloak, but there's red highlights of threading through it. The way she moves makes it a little bit difficult to determine the pattern, and it's only the lower half of her face that you can see. And it's expressionless at the moment as she studies you. Can't see.
So Ivar slows down and comes to a pause as he notices the figure, and he just stares at it with his ashen face and his pale hair. He just looks at it for a moment, his face completely unreadable. Have you fear?
I have no fear.
Good. It is dangerous to be in fear in these parts these days. Are you from around
See the
here?
hood bob. No.
What is your name?
My name is Nesca. What is yours?
I am Ivar. Tell me, have you seen anything strange as of late?
I have.
Were I to buy you a cup, would you be willing to share with me what you've seen?
I would.
Very well.
Are you entering into the inn?
A
Okay.
gesture for them to follow.
Okay. Nesca, you open the door to the inn of the Sleepy Nook. And as you enter, this is an inn that you also have been to maybe once or twice to meet a couple of your friends, maybe. And as you enter, a familiar sight greets you. There's a very, very sort of rustic vibe to this entire establishment. There is a distinct smell of just a poorly ventilated fireplace off to the side. It sort of fills the room with just, this is an older inn in the city, in a city where there is a lot of sort of technological achievements, like things are always changing in the city of Ashcaleen. Yet certain elements of the city remain the same. Some inns are just kind of shitholes and they're just not the best kept. But they some of the best places to meet and stay if you wanted to lay low in the city are not necessarily the most lavish. And so as you enter, there is a very large open area. It's the eatery of the inn. People are able to go down into this waiting area and eating area where, and then there's a bar that a very, very busy barmaid is behind. She is older, it would appear. Sitting at the bar, there's actually Jal. Would you describe your character?
Sitting at the bar at the inn, you would see a average height individual, a long, very dark green cloak draped over their shoulders, all the way down to the floor, hood down, revealing some medium length, light brown hair. They're just kind of looking straight down into their cup. They have like one of those messenger bags slung to the side. Other than that, their clothes seem, to be much the same as pretty much everybody else that you would see around. The only thing that would probably be striking would be a very noticeable emerald ring on the right hand, as he's just, trying to, like, you could see that he's just got his head down, just very much so trying to drink away a trouble.
Excellent.
Would I be able to roll to see if I recognize the ring for any reason?
Give me a history check. History or Arcana.
9.
9. Yeah, it's a pretty ring. It's an emerald colored ring. If you like the color green, it's a nice ring. As you enter, you see the older bar matron behind the bar who's very busy. This bar looks like it could maybe be understaffed. As it seems that there are several other, there's a tiefling off in the corner. There's a bugbear who seems to be, throwing darts at this at a dartboard. There's 2 half orcs who are sitting at a table, and they might be engaged in a drinking contest at this point in the evening. They're too far gone to really tell, but they're both winning. And so at this point, though, it looks like this haggard woman who Ivar knows as Ivy Luna Dream. Although the name is a very prettyish sounding name for somewhat of a shrewish woman. She sees you, Ivar, and she says, Hey, you doing back here? Don't you be talking about going on about your god and all that. Just we don't need to be hearing about it. We get enough of that every day going off in the Starriness district.
Peace, Ivy. I come not to praise and to preach today, although perhaps you could help me. I know not if you've heard, but Tishara has been amiss for quite some time. Mattel
Don't
and
I know it?
Matilda.
She's supposed to be working tonight.
Mattel and Matilda. Have you seen or heard of them?
I'm sorry, Ivar. To be honest, ever since I was expecting them to be here for dinner, but no, I haven't seen them anyway. And I know you were talking to them about, everything that you're doing up in the Starriness district with your whole little, shrine thing. And but to be honest, I haven't seen hard nor hair of them for at least a couple days.
This is Nesca over here. I
Hello.
promised her a cup. So whatever she wants.
That's fine. Yeah. What would you like? And you see Ivy sort of duck down, trying to get like a gauge of your face, Nesca.
I don't move my hood.
Mm-hmm. You keep it on?
I keep it on, but like I don't try to hide anymore. So whatever she's able to see, she can see.
She can see sort of the general makeup of your mouth and perhaps like the lower portion of your nose.
Yep.
Basically what I can see right now.
Yeah, it keeps sliding down.
Art imitates life.
I will have whatever is most popular, please.
Oh, well, that would be the Phoenix whiskey. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I go offering my best, Ivar, can you afford that? I only ask because you're kind of a holy man, and they're not used to, at least in my mind, they're not the most rich out of the lot of you.
Ivy, the fifth light will provide, and if it does not provide, I promise to serve under you for as long as I need to in order to serve and repay my debt. You know I'm good for it.
She gives you like a playful wink. Oh, don't you go on like that, or else I might just marry you. And she's like, fine. That will be 1 silver piece for the both of you. I'm assuming you're getting the Phoenix whiskey too, Ivar.
No, none for me.
Oh, well then, just 10 copper pieces then.
Very well.
All right. And you give her the 10 copper. She's like, oh, okay. I'll hit back off to the back and I'll be back in 2 shakes. She sort of hobbles back into a back room behind 2 double doors, and she's lost to view, giving you a moment's peace from her shrill voice. At this point, behind you, you hear the 2 orcs. They're starting to sing different songs. The songs seem to reference different parts of the dwarven lands that are in the mountains, or were in the mountains at one time. The tiefling seems to be keeping all to himself in his corner booth, and the sort of grumpy human gentleman at the bar is just sort of lost as he's drinking an ale of some kind.
You are missing friends?
I do. I have not heard from them in a couple of days. And you mentioned you have seen some strange things. Perhaps none of this is a coincidence.
I hope not. I do not wish to be too forward. What race were they? Are they?
Can I just take free reign with this? I don't remember if we actually discussed.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Matilda and Mateo. Matilda was a human barmaid, and Mateo, he was a loxodon, just sort of an elephant humanoid.
One of them was a human barmaid. The other one was a loxodon. They were kind to me, open to hearing the word of the Minotaur in the fifth light. Now they are missing. I cannot but feel partly responsible if I do not find their whereabouts or whether they are safe.
Can you describe the human a bit more for me?
She had brown hair, green eyes, the skin tanned from all the time spent under the sun. Quite a caring smile, gentle. Suppose that's all I can think of.
Does that brief description sound familiar to me?
Give me given actually no, you actually rolled really high during the session 0 for one of them, and then you rolled really low for the other one. So for the first one, I will say, given your investigation, his description, and specifically his description regarding the eyes, that does trigger something. As in the torchlight, certain things are very visible.
I believe I have encountered your friend.
Ivar takes a pause. When did you see them?
When did I see them?
You saw them maybe an hour ago.
Oh, okay, that is right. Yep, cool.
During this time, if we can take a brief pause, Jal, during this time, as you're lost in thought, and there's a reason for that, trying to figure out some of life's great questions in this moment.
Absolutely.
Deciding to do certain things and not do certain things. The weight that you carry in your messenger bag being a physical one, but also a mental and emotional one right now. I need you to give me a perception check.
Perception. We're rocking it tonight. That's an natty 1.
That's a what? That's a nat 1?
That's a nat 1, yep.
You are very much lost in thought right now. You, like, everything that they're talking about, like the sound, like occasionally you'll sort of fade in and out, like you'll catch certain words that the orcs are singing and you're like, oh, I've heard of that place. Sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
I might want to go there sometime. Maybe, I don't know. I need to get out of here though. Maybe I should stay. And you're lost in all of these complex questions as you nurse this tankard of ale. Suddenly, and rather abruptly, the double doors swing open and Ivy comes in with her with a Phoenix whiskey, and she plops it down in front of you, Nesca, and she's like, well, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing you drink that.
My thanks. Is it like a little shot or is it a tankard as well?
No, it's a more refined glass. She's bringing it to you in a glass and she sort of puts it down in front of you. There's even a coaster. And she has it there in front of you and she's just sort of looking at you, just like waiting for you to experience it.
Ivar basically looks at the glass and then looks at Nesca and also just to wait.
Given the show of the barmaid coming in, actually, I would say that would be enough to kind of like bounce
Yeah,
Jal up, and
for
like, oh, somebody's getting the Phoenix whiskey, so he's going to be paying attention, at least just to see how this goes.
Okay.
Judging by everyone's reactions of this whiskey, very hesitantly pick it up, and I'm just going to smell it and then gingerly sip it.
Okay. The smell to your nostrils, it is very foreign. It is something that you have never smelled before. But honestly, it reminds you of home in some weird way. And it's this kind of smell where the moment you smell it, you can also almost taste it on your tongue, and there's almost a feeling like a warm, it's a warm, homey feeling for you, given your background.
So take a sip and then shoot the rest.
Okay, you take the sip. The moment the liquid passes your lips and hits your tongue, it is just this cornucopia of flavors that just sort of come into your mouth, and just like it takes your breath away for a second, but then it's immediately this warm, comforting feeling that just sort of blossoms in your chest and spreads out and enters into your stomach. And it honestly, it's almost like has almost like a psychedelic effect, as the world around you suddenly seems to get just a little bit brighter. And I will say for the next, actually, really quick, give me a Constitution saving throw, just for the heck of it.
Thought that was coming. Saving throw. Oh, 4.
4. Okay. You in this moment, as you feel the heat just sort of spread through all of your core and your appendages and everything, you just feel this warmth, this blush suddenly enter your cheeks, and you're feeling real good right now. And it is the world is brighter and it is more colorful than it was a second ago. The smell of smoke is not as acrid as it was before. And you are just suddenly, Ivar and his sort of sallow, grim expression suddenly seems pleasanter for some reason. And this shrill bar matron who was just across the bar from you, who is just very shrill and kind of off-putting, the sound of her voice is just like, you just suddenly, like, her voice almost takes on a musical quality. This is top shelf whiskey. Unfortunately, as you feel the sensations, you will be experiencing for the next hour, you will be experiencing a little bit of a, we'll say, diminished quickness, and you will be, for the next hour, you will be rolling at disadvantage for dexterity.
Okay.
Okay. Ivar, as you see Nesca, and then you're like, okay.
That doesn't happen, right? Like that doesn't happen often.
Oh no, this is the ballsiest move you've ever seen with Phoenix whiskey before.
Okay. I watch that. I look at Ivy, have a moment of, that's quite the.
Hey, Lord preserve us! Oh my God, that was a very brave thing to do.
I look at Ivy and I nod to her and I say, gratitude, Ivy. And I look back to Nesca, and I don't know if she has yet answered how long ago did she see my friend.
She has not.
So I resume, even though I can tell that I can probably know that she's drank the whiskey. You spoke about Perhaps you, my friend. How long ago was this?
An hour.
Ivar's reaction, his face just sort of drops. He leans closer and he just looks at us. Where?
There's a slight tug at Nesca's mouth now. She'll copy and lean forward. I can show you.
Ivar hesitates for a moment and he'd like to try to use his divine sense.
Okay.
Which does?
Could you do me a favor and drop the divine sense into the Discord chat so we can all see it?
I think it's this, yeah.
All right, with this.
And Andy, would you mind checking the personal messages that I sent you as well?
Oh, I apologize. You sent me personal messages. Yes,
I've sent you a couple actually.
you did.
Let me know if that is.
I don't see any personal messages. When did you send them to me?
A couple of days ago. Let me just copy and paste them.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's not. No, that's totally fine.
Cool.
In terms of the items.
Cool.
At this point though, having as you were sort of having this conversation with Ivar, Jal, you're sort of at this point, you're very fixated on them, not only just because you just saw somebody drain the Phoenix whiskey, and you're just like, that doesn't happen. Respect. You've seen several of your, shall we say, coworkers be felled by, not killed, but felled by the Phoenix whiskey. And it has always ended in much mirth, and you are always diverted by everything that happens as a result of it. But that was like, whoa, that was way more than you were expecting. At this point, you're definitely feeling slightly intrigued by the hooded one.
Was I able to like kind of overhear a little bit of their exchange of like, when did you see them an hour ago?
You caught that much.
Given Jal's job, he will move his tankard to the side and without really like watching or anything, just listening, reach into his bag and pull out a notebook that he has along with his ink pen and just start taking notes because this sounds like a missing person.
Okay, so you're taking notes. All right. Yes. Going back to you all, you've established that Nesca has seen this person an hour ago.
And I used my divine sense to try and detect anything potentially dark or celestial or fiend or undead in my surroundings. Just because her eagerness to take me to them or where it was, and the fact that she just drank the whiskey as she did, it makes me.
As an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell, or know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead, within 60 feet. So because of the range limitations, and you're also very much aware that this person, Nesca, who you just met, is not a celestial fiend or undead. And as far as detecting good and evil, it doesn't seem to be affecting either way. They seem to know something, but whether they have ill intent towards you or good intent towards you, it actually doesn't feel like they have anything. They just know this.
What? So I look at them and I say, take me, show me. And I'm just ready to
I got up
follow.
and I got up and do we notice the green cloaked figure, depending on what way we're facing at the bar, that they're sort of like,
yeah, I mentioned
turning in
that
on
he
us?
was like the first thing that you all saw. You may not have noticed necessarily, as you've sort of been focused on talking to each other, that he has started to listen in on some of
Mhm.
the last bit of your conversation.
yeah, okay.
Jal, what is your reaction to what Nesca has just said?
If they're starting to get up and leave, just like I'll kind of give them like the little bit of the head start as I'm kind of, like closing the book, putting it away. And like if they're like probably when they make it to the door, I would reach into my coin pouch, take out the 2 copper, sit on the bar and just go, Ivy, you're gorgeous. Don't stop being beautiful. Get up and start to follow.
Oh, get out of here, Jal.
Just a salute.
As you, Nesca and Ivar, as you make your way outside, the moon, in all its glory, it is a full moon at this point. It has reached its pinnacle in the sky, and neither of you worship Selune, but you know that at this particular point, Salune's worshippers are in the Starriness district. Ivar, you definitely saw them at the, there was a nunnery that you passed walking back down into the Salt Ford. And there was a mass of sorts that you saw as they were doing their evening service for the people of Ashcaleen. It seemed especially necessary given the fact that the city has gone through a tumultuous event where there's been a massive shift in power, where the peoples of Ashcaleen are suddenly faced with the reality that King Gleef is no longer the ruling. He might be the king, but he's no longer the ruler of Ashcaleen. That would be Queen Nyla Lee, a name that Nesca and Ivar, you're aware of, but you've never encountered personally. Jal, you definitely know who that is. At this point, you exit. The streets are empty. Nesca, the place that you are looking to lead Ivar is, if you are in the Salt Ford, it is south of the Salt Ford, almost up to the southern wall. So it's closer to the Cavathis. Not it's like halfway between, on the southern wall, between those 2 entrances that go out into Cavathis. Are you the 2 of you heading there now, or is there any sort of discourse that you wish to exchange on your way there?
Ivar will probably want to strike up conversation along the way.
Okay.
And just ask, so what is it that brought you to the city?
Really quick, Jal, are you following? Are you being stealthy?
Yeah, once I hit the street, kind of give little look left or right for, as you said, some of my coworkers. Adjust the ring, lift the hood, and then I'd probably keep maybe a We'll call it like a 15-foot. So long as the streets aren't like super crowded, probably like a 15-foot.
There's barely anyone in the streets right now, actually.
Maybe we'll push that back to 30.
Okay. So
A little bit of a
behind them.
30-foot tail, yeah.
Are you trying to be hidden, or are you just continuing just to be behind them? About 30 feet?
Not like trying to be hidden, but definitely not trying to be noticed, if you
Okay.
catch my drift.
All right.
Like I wanted to seem like, oh, I'm just going this way, rather than, doing the Kronk in Emperor's New Groove, trying to slink through the alleyways. Yeah, just rather, I just got to go this way too.
Just because you're explaining something that it sounds like there's a certain level of subtlety involved, you don't want them to know that that they're being followed. Give me a stealth check.
Stealth check.
And I will need both of you, Nesca and Ivar. What is your passive perception?
Oh, if you're going off of
12.
passive, don't even bother. I didn't beat a 10.
Oh,
I got a total of 8. I am rolling rocks tonight.
Ivar, Nesca, as you exit and you start to head on the southerly road down towards the wall. Ivar, Nesca, you both notice that the guy from the bar or the inn, he's behind you.
I probably notice, but I say nothing at first and I just keep walking.
Okay.
If for whatever reason I feel like Nesca would want to stop or try to like hesitate about the walking, I would probably just say, don't mind him.
Okay.
And I'll just keep walking.
All right.
I certainly take.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to continue off that. I would certainly notice the green cloaked figure, but I do not acknowledge. You could say I came here for a cultural experience.
And what is the culture that you hail from?
A long lost and rather forgotten one.
Try me. Perhaps I know it.
Where do you hail from?
Answering a question with a question. Very well. You need not to answer just yet. I still want to see if what you said about my friend is true. And I trust the light of a Minotaur will shed information and clear clarity upon this. Ivar just goes back silent and just continues walking next to Nesca, not pushing any further, just keeping aware of his surroundings.
Okay. 5 minutes goes by. You're walking in silence. Jal, you're walking behind them, and at this point, you think that you're being very subtle. From their perspective, you're just like, guy from the bar is going the same direction as us. That's interesting. You walk in silence for 5 minutes. You start to get into more of the, as you get towards the southern gates going out into the Cavathis, you definitely start to notice that there's a change in sort of the architecture. Some of the buildings look to be a little bit more downtrodden. This part of the city definitely could use a facelift. It seems like a lot of the resources and the technologies and the monies have been shifted towards the northern area of the city. And this seems to be an area that might have been just a little bit forgotten in Ashcaleen. It's at this point, as you're recalling your previous path, Nesca, your senses just And I'll say, is there a time limit on divine sense, or is it just the once that it's cast?
Uh,
How long does
for
it last?
it lasts for. I mean, technically, it's like it says until the end of your next turn.
Okay, so it's passed.
So it
Since its
passed.
turn is usually about
Yeah.
6 seconds. So yeah, both of you give me, actually all three of you give me perception checks.
$17.
17?
18.
17,
17 as
17, and
well.
18?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. As you begin to make your way into this seedier, just sort of broken down portion of Ashcaleen, there is a smell that has alighted upon the air. Ivar, you immediately recognize it. And it's the smell of death. Something is dead. Not necessarily know what that is, but it is. You've smelled it before. Jal, this smell is pungent to you. It's like rotting meat. And Nesca, you definitely have seen things that have smelled like this, and especially since the last time you saw this woman that Ivar has described to you. This is a familiar scent. As you begin to make your way down into this alleyway, at the very end of it, it comes to a dead end. And at the very end of it, there are several like crates and some garbage that is on the back side of it. And then at the very center of it, there is a sewer grate.
Ivar, as soon as he catches the smell, he slows down. He notices the crate, and he'll try to use divine sense again this time. He'll probably raise a hand next to Nesca because he has. Wait. And he'll just start trying to open his divine sense as he takes tentative, slow steps a little closer to the crate.
Okay. You cast divine sense once again. And at least within 60 feet, there is just that smell. And there's not immediately, but there's something that is just sort of tickling your mind just on the outer edges. And because it is just, it's on the extreme edges of your sense and where you're standing. So it's centered on you and then expands out. It's just, something is there. Something is just on the edges of, it's almost like seeing something in your peripheral, but it's not plainly visible to you. It's something that is immediately like, I know what this is.
Yeah. I think Ivar would probably just kneel as he just looks around, but not really with his eyes. He's just trying to understand where the thing may come from and what it may be. He looks over at Nesca and he just asks, "Do you feel that?"
Not right now.
What is Jal doing at this point?
Seeing them have like stopped in the spot, you'd probably like, do I get the sense that they feel like something's up?
From your perspective, These two individuals that you are following have stopped in the middle of an alleyway that leads into a dead end. And they seem to be standing near and around the sewer grate. This area of the city is not a place that you have spent a lot of time, but you definitely know where there are certain areas and pathways that you've trodden and certain coworkers of yours have trodden. It's not your route, but you know others of your comrades that have moved through this area of the city. But you've never smelled, this smells like rotting meat, but this isn't an area, there's no butcher shop around here. So whatever is making this smell is another dead thing.
Just making an assumption based off of dead end, them stopping and kind of looking around. It's a pure assumption. So Gel's just kind of gonna like look at, like, see them stop himself, look over his shoulder and just go, ah, shit. And probably turn to, like, I don't know if there's like crates or something that you could stand behind out of their line of sight. And then raise the hand with the ring and bring it down over his front as he casts mage armor on himself to bring like a green mask over his face and like a green arcane magical breastplate, and just kind of, you know, try to listen and see what's gonna go there. He's feeling like, you know, led down a dark alley. It's you know, it's a dead end. Something smells dead. Ambush seems like this is probably what's going to be going on. Like, you know, that's kind of what his training would lead him to believe. So he's like, it's time to prepare for stuff to hit the fan.
Okay. You're not making your presence immediately known to them, or are you?
No, I like I said, I would try to like step to the side behind crates, barrels, whatever might be there. If there's nothing there, then maybe just like off to the side and, you know, kind of just do it nice and like a little bit subtly so that they don't see that I'm armoring up.
Okay.
Don't want to draw aggro.
At this point, do you guys notice the person who has clearly been following you for like the last bit?
I think Ivar has been aware the whole time and he doesn't care. And right now his attention has completely shifted. The moment that he sensed death, this character, for some, he's entrusting his divine sense from when he was at the inn. And so this guy followed him from the inn and he didn't sense anything before they departed. So he's just, right now his focus is on the fact of the smell. And I had a question. Is the smell, do I sense the energy of these things on the edge of my divine sense? Is the smell emerging from like the sewer, like the crate, or is it more like, do I sense it elsewhere? Like it, you know, would I be able to sense whether it's coming from down there or it's like, oh, it probably emerged from there?
The impression you get, I'll say, without needing to roll another perception check, you definitely get the impression that whatever is happening, whatever this smell is coming from the sewer, which means it's below ground.
Okay. So Ivar is kneeling next to the sewer entrance. He reaches for his medallion. Oh, I'm on a tour. Shed light in the darkness. Let me find this fiend. Whatever the fate, help me vanquish it. He slowly stands up, looks at Nesca. Do you care much for the sewers?
I've been down there before.
And I have a question. The entrance to the sewer, would I fit?
Good question.
That is a good question. Yes, you would.
Okay.
It is. It's a large square grate with iron bars that go all in one direction, but they are secured in place by a square of iron, and you would be able to hoist the thing from the ground and pull it up and move it to the side.
Okay. So once she responds and they seem to be all right with it, I proceed to try to just reach for the grate and yank it off.
Okay. Yeah, it takes a second because it's a grate, but it looks like it's been moved recently. So you haul it up and you toss it to the side with relative ease. Nesca, what is your impression of everything that Ivar is doing? Given that he seems to be operating off of almost information that he's not letting on about in terms of what he's sensing right now.
Nesca wouldn't have any sort of idea that he's reaching out to another source of information. So she'd be almost mimicking his emotions and his actions, reflecting his urgency to find his friend and wanting to get to the bottom of what's been going on. So she's now presenting with a sense of urgency as well.
Got it. Okay. Are you descending into the sewers?
After I open the crate and I toss it, I take a moment and I raise my voice slightly to address the figure that has been following us. Are you coming with us or not? And without waiting for an answer, I just go down.
What is Jaw's response?
From behind the crates, like he's gonna hear that and just kind of go, all right, and just like come around, but like not sprint up, just kind of like walk up, and Ivar's already on the way down. I don't know if Nesca turns around, but if they do, you just kind of like give a little bit of a wave, and like just
What does
keep walking
Nesca
towards them.
see?
The individual from the bar now that he's standing in front of her, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, like kind of nice build. His eyes are bright green, like almost shine against the night. And as he's kind of walking up, he's still got that cloak on, with the hood up now. Still that ring very prominent. He's kind of got like that hand up as he's waving. It's just now he has this vibrant green mask covering the top portion of his face. And instead of like the normal clothes, there is a very a bright green breastplate covering his chest under his cloak.
Okay. Nesca, at this particular moment, hearing Ivar sort of just rally Jal from the crates behind you, and seeing Ivar just sort of disappear down into the sewer. What do you choose to do?
I'm going to take note of the mask and sort of study it for a moment.
Actually, yes, I need you to give me a perception check.
Me a perception.
I will say you can do this with advantage.
Yeah, and taking the first roll. Perception, 15.
15. Okay. There is something familiar about this particular figure. Given your given your paths that you've taken throughout the city, and doing your best to see but not be seen, there's something about this particular figure. Maybe it's not his looks, but his bearing, the way he carries himself, that there's something familiar about it. Can't quite put your finger on it.
I'm going to speak in, I don't know what languages you know. I'm going to say something in Undercommon and gauge your response.
Does Jal speak Undercommon?
He does not. So here in like whatever words come from Nesca, he's just gonna kind of look and just go, yeah, good evening to you too as well. Sewers, huh?
Am I within hearing rate? Like, am I within hearing range down in the sewer? To hear Nesca?
We'll say that this occurs almost simultaneously with you dropping in. You're dropping into the sewer.
Mhm.
And you very quickly realize that it is more than a 10-foot drop into the sewer. And it's about 20. So
Okay.
I'm going to need you to give me, I'm going to roll 2d6. So given that you are heavily armored and you're dropping into a dark, it's nighttime, it's a sewer, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you sort of like you hit the ground, and it's like with a sickening as you just go deep into whatever is lying at the bottom of this sewer. And it is just the smell of death that you smelled earlier is now mixed with the smells of Ashcaleen. As you just right into all of it.
How deep am I?
Oh, it's
covered?
definitely it's up past your ankles. It's
Okay.
going. It's you're definitely making. When you were a kid and you used to walk around in like the mud, and you'd go to the deepest parts of the mud because you really liked the sucking sound that it would make whenever you would try to walk through it. It's that. And so that's what you're experiencing right now, as you are in the sewer of Ashcaleen. Meanwhile, Nesca, because you have already been here, you know that there's a ladder, or a ladder that goes right down the side of the sewer, or down the side of the wall as you enter the sewer, where maintenance people might go down into the sewer to clean something or clear something out of the sewer. What do you want to do?
I gesture for the ladder and I wait.
Okay.
Ladies first.
All right. Are you choosing to go down into the sewer then, Nesca?
Yep.
Okay.
But
You descend, you start to climb down the ladder.
oh no, I was going to pin drop as well.
Oh. You okay.
I was going to slide down the wall and use slow fall.
Okay. Yeah, you do that.
Style points.
Yeah.
You just it's like Assassin's Creed up in here, where you basically like you take one of your hands and you just sort of right into the wall, and you just like with both of your feet, you with sort of a really amazing actually, hold on. Make a dexterity check with disadvantage.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay. One of them was a natural 20.
Okay. What was the other one?
The other one, a dexterity check, that's a good modifier, 17.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to use slow fall, but I was just wanting to see like how dexterously you were going to do it. So in
Yeah.
this moment where you are going down, you're definitely still feeling the effects of the liquor from earlier, but it's like you've done this before. This is old chestnut to you. Like all of your training over the years that you've accumulated. It's just you're in your natural element when you're moving in this way. And so you just begin to attach, and then and you just like your fingers just slick through whatever is sort of like on the walls, the moisture and the of Ashcaleen, and you just like, and you're just, as you just go down the interior wall of this sewer tunnel. Great. It's a sewer thing. You get all the way down to the bottom and you see Ivar sort of, okay, right himself after he's just tried to superhero land right into the mud at the bottom of this. And you're sort of like, just a regular day. What is Jal doing?
He's gonna walk over to the edge where Nesca went down, kind of look down. Can I see how far it is? I mean, I have 120 feet of dark vision, so
Yeah, you see how far you can see them at the bottom of this. It looks to be about 20 feet down.
My next question: how old does Ivar appear?
Ivar?
He probably looks like a very worn down 50-year-old, like very seasoned. And it's also tricky because his skin is sort of like ashen. His Kalashtar race makes him look pale, and his hair is also sort of like ashen. So it's tricky to tell exactly what he just looks like. He definitely isn't young. He would look for like around 50. And also he's just very like worn.
Okay, so looking down, Giles gonna shake his head and just kind of call down and goes, "You paying for the cleaning bill, old man?" And with that, because it is very much so in his nature to do what he can to avoid standing in whatever's in the sewer, he's going to wave the ring, which is going to start glowing. An aura will cover him head to toe, and Jala is going to use elemental gift flight, and he's going to hover down the sewer access just above the filth and just kind of wait to see where we're going.
What is Nesca and Ivar's reaction to this sudden green transformation and flight that is used?
Ivar hears the remark and then watches the glide down, looking down at the feet as they glide right above the thing. His unreadable expression just looks back at the eyes of Jal, and he says, "The filth that lies within your soul is probably dirtier than what lies beneath my feet."
You know all too well.
Oh, wow. That was okay. Nesca, what is
Shots
your reaction?
fired. That social cue has gone completely over her head. She does not understand that form of banter. It is quite filthy down here.
Yeah. How do all of you have dark vision?
I probably would be reaching into my pack for a candle in the tinderbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you do that. You light this. Nesca, you have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you and Jal have this. So the candlelight, though, does illuminate the room so that you are able to see greater detail. You are in the very beginnings of one of the old sewers of Ashcaleen. So, Jal, you know from your time in the city that when Ashcaleen was first built, they did build in from the walls. The walls were some of the first things that were to come up when the city was first transformed into the capital of Nimrion. At first, it was just a wide swath of different sections. It was originally the most original portions of the city were the Dungannon and the Starriness, which are two very different kinds of places, but somehow located right next to each other, really, now separated by a wall. This wall was one of the first things that was to be built when Nimrion when the kingdom of Nimrion took Ashcaleen as its capital. As the city was built in, the sewers were put underneath of it. And then the buildings would go up on top of it. And these are one of the first sewers that was built back when the capital city was first founded. And you do know that based off of your knowledge, that from this entrance there is basically a pathway that goes about 60 feet, and then there's what's called a juncture, and then it will split into 3 other directions. Basically, it's a T, and it will go as it follows the sort of the different byways underneath the different byways of Ashcaleen.
So, all right. I will probably just, while holding the candle, look into the nothingness that goes beyond what the light can reach. And then just speak to the two. Keep your wits about you. Whatever we're about to face, let us face it together. And then I'll just start tentatively walking into the sewer, just trying to get a little sense more of what's beyond the reach of the candle for me.
Okay.
How much of the different like sections of the sewer do I get to see at this point?
At this point, the candle only illuminates up to about 30 feet ahead of you. Just really quick, I'm going to share some music with y'all.
Yes.
Can you guys hear it?
No.
I can.
Oh, yes. Yes. Subtle, but.
Oh, there it
nice.
is. Yep.
Okay. As you begin to move forward, your dark vision definitely gives you sort of a better view of things than, say, what Ivar can see. Jal, your vision extends. You can actually see the junction. And you see the area on the walls where braziers can be lit. Nesca, you know the direction you need to go. And you know where the juncture is, or the junction. And you know that you would need to be headed north, directly north.
I'll move just in front of Ivar, stay within his candlelight so that he can see me. And not so much using words, but more body language to point in the direction that we need to go. Still picking up and maintaining that emotional urgency that she was getting from earlier.
Okay.
Ivar is going to notice as she moves ahead and starts leading the way, and he just nods and follows suit.
coming up the back of the pack. John, seeing the braziers on the wall, he's gonna kind of not like super loud or boisterous, but just like loud enough to be heard. Just kind of speak up and just go. Are we supposed to be kind of sneaky about this, or should I shed some light on the situation?
Ivar takes a moment and thinks about this. There is a possibility that if we are in the territory of a beast, then it knows that we are already here. However, caution may be wise.
So was that a yes, sir?
Gosh.
He doesn't laugh, but I do because I couldn't hold back. I just love that he's just like kind of like cautious. So we need the light, or
Ivar
have the light.
Ivar would probably listen to that question, look over at Nesca and ask her, do you know how far we need to go?
Yes. If you do not have vision for this environment, then caution will be difficult.
Then let the light guide me and protect me.
That sounds like a yes. And whenever we come within 10 feet of a brazier, I will use prestidigitation to light it.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, as you're going, conveniently enough, as you're moving down the tunnel towards the junction, you see braziers on the wall every 30 feet. So you get to the 30 mark and you see 30 feet ahead is the junction, and you light the braziers on either side. It sort of illuminates this tunnel. And the light just sort of fills it, but it's almost an oppressive quality to the darkness down here. It could just be the fact that you're in a sewer in the middle of the night during a full moon. But it is something, again, the mixture of the sense and the visual aspect, not necessarily having the best use of all of your senses. There's definitely an oppressive quality down here. Not to mention the music just is truly frightening.
Who's playing that?
Yeah. Why did it start just as we got down here? Damn it. As you begin to move through, you reach the junction, and the smell is just starting to become so noxious almost as it fills your nostrils. And it is almost overpowering. And you see Nesca. You know which way to go. You know which direction you need to head. Are you at this point, are you taking the lead?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be Nesca.
Show me that.
So Nesca, and then who behind Nesca? Ivar, and then Jal. Okay.
At this point, Ivar probably reached into his candle, turned it off with his fingers, put it back in his bag.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm not feeling anything like I had the first time I was down here.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. 15.
15. And just for the heck of it, what are all your passive perceptions? 10.
12 for passive.
Where do I see my passive in my...
On the left-hand side, underneath your saving throws.
Oh yeah, the senses?
Yeah.
Passive wisdom is 14.
And Nesca, what were you again? Sorry, 12?
12 passive, but I rolled a 15.
Got it. Okay. As you reach the center of the junction, and as you look down on either side, Nesca, on the right-hand side, which is for you, so north, so this would be east, towards the east. So going towards the docks. You see a faint form of a humanoid suddenly skitter just outside of your vision. And it just skitters away.
We are not alone down here.
Oh, that much I feared. Ivar is going to reach for his sword, and just very slowly, he's just going to
Can you
keep it
describe
on-
your sword for
Yeah. So as he draws his sword, you can see that the sword has this on the handle, where he's grabbing it from. There's this like leather, very weathered leather. The pommel has a 5-point star with a pendant in the middle, like a ruby. The obsidian blade seems to have this beautiful imperfections of it that makes it look almost as if it's spotted. And whether you can sense it or not, there is something ominous and heavy about the sword. And he carries it. You can tell that there's a sense of comfort and eagerness that seems to take over his body. It's not necessarily excitement, it's just there's something about his breath that just changes as he...
As you draw the sword, Ivar, the sword blade leaves the sheath, and you bring it down in front of you in almost a readiness stance as you proceed cautiously through the dark. The voice enters your mind. It's a voice you're very familiar with. Oh, I love when you do this. I love it so much. This means there's going to be some killing done, yes? Oh, please say yes.
Ivar pauses for a moment, and he says to the voice, even though he says it out loud, though it sounds very similar to most of the things he utters when he speaks in riddles and in prayer. He just says, "There is foulness abound, and I am ready to vanquish it, as I have always been."
Nesca and Jal, you hear these words, just sort of said aloud. Seems to be to himself. It's just a peculiar thing. You've never sort of encountered a person necessarily like Ivar. At this point, what are you all doing? You are in the junction at this point. Which direction do you choose to go in?
In stark contrast to everything that Ivar just did, hearing the only half that he could, Giles just going to kind of nod and go, yeah, it's a sewer. There's lots of foulness down here. He's going to kind of flip his hands around each other and conjure a bright green rapier into his right hand and stand at the ready.
Okay. All right.
Ivar is probably
Okay.
still behind Nesca, correct? So
Yes.
Nesca so far is the only person who's seeing something at the moment.
Right. And she's just alerted you to the fact that you are not alone.
That we're not alone. So yeah, Ivar would probably have, so actually his sword, he'd probably have it at a low ready. He basically has it like facing down. His gaze is probably down. He's trying to focus on his peripheral. He's just trying to become aware of his surroundings, just in case he can sense either movement or anything, just be prepared.
Nesca, what are you doing?
Nesca's hands will flex a couple of times, and even though she has a quarterstaff across her back, she does not reach for it. Instead, she just motions in the direction that they should continue.
All right. So, given your quest / mission of finding out what has become of Matilda, you proceed in the northerly junction, heading down into the tunnel. At this point, you definitely get the sensation that you're starting to slope downward, not only just by the feeling of your feet, but also the feeling of that there's a little bit trickle of sludge that sort of descends down this particular tunnel as you head northerly. Say, you actually travel, again, you're still continuing to light the braziers, Joe? Okay.
Until I'm told not to.
Who has the largest range with the dark vision?
120.
120. John, you all travel for the better part of about 10 minutes. At this point, you've traveled a decent distance underground.
For the record, I am no longer flying because it's been 10 minutes.
It's almost like I know it's on your character sheet. It's weird. As you sink down into the mud, there's this mild moment of disappointment as you just are like, I'm with the normies now. And
Ivar is probably going to add very matter-of-factly, without even looking, just as he continues to walk. Even the mighty fall to the dirt sometimes.
oh, the
Just
shade.
Audible grumble from Jal.
At this point, you have been continuing to light the braziers. At this point, there is actually a clear, comforting line of light behind you that is illuminating the tunnel. And it is pointing in the direction of home. As you continue, you are about to light this one brazier. And just for a frame of reference, you've passed through many different junctions at this point, all the while heading north, following Nesca. So at this point, Nesca, you get the sense that you are getting close. And before you can even make that known to Ivar and Jal, you're about to light the brazier, and as this brazier is lit, your dark vision extends out, and you see up to 120 feet.
Mhm.
These huddled figures standing within the next junction, standing with their backs to you in a circle. Have any of you seen the movie I Am Legend?
I was afraid you were going to say that reference. That scene is so creepy.
Very much like that. Will Smith prestidigitationing his way through the darkness in that building, and suddenly you see, standing huddled close together, sort of not shivering, but it's almost like with tension in their bodies. You see what appears to be gaunt, pale humanoids. Some of them with completely hairless, some of them with the hair still on their face and head, but all of them seem to be focused on something in the center. And that thing in the center is a pile of corpses.
All right, so much like in I Am Legend, seeing this, prestidigitation to turn off that last brazier, and whispering to Ivar and Nesca. Giles just going to be like, hang on. And like, once I have their attention, I'll like describe, just be like, way down at the end of this tunnel, there's a group of, I don't know, people, but there's something off. I don't know what's going on, but they're all huddled around each other, and there's definitely a lot of dead bodies up there too.
What does Nesca say?
There was only one body when I was here earlier.
Oh, so they're efficient with their time. All right, good. Good to know.
Ivar seems to grow heavier with his energy. This also means they act quickly, and many more innocent continue to fall, which means we cannot let it linger.
At this point, the voice returns to Ivar's mind. Yes. We can't allow it to linger, but the innocent always fall. But believe me, if you continue to wield me the way you have in the past, you should do all right. Let's make the best use of our new friends.
Ivar is completely still. His eyes are staring into the darkness where these creatures are supposed to be. And he just speaks to the two. If I am to give my all in this fight, I am going to need light. Will you fight alongside me?
Don't have much of a choice, do I? I'm about an hour down underground with you. Be kind of silly to turn back now.
I will say one thing, Jal, that you definitely noticed when you illuminated the passageway ahead and you flicked the light off. No one seemed to notice. No one seemed to acknowledge the sudden light and the disappearance of it, which could be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you illuminated them, several of the members of that group are wearing the red armor.
All right. Well, for the moment, Jal's gonna kind of have to Oh, if they're wearing the red armor, yeah, Jal's gonna communicate that. He's gonna just kind of should also let you know, they look like red guards, so they're pretty well armored. Now, I don't know what you guys bring to the table, but we're far enough away. We seem to have the drop on them. I could get their attention and start picking them off while we bring them into the light that the old man has just requested. But I don't know how you all feel about that. How wide is the tunnel?
About 15 feet.
15 feet. Okay.
It narrows and opens. It fluctuates between 10 to 15 feet wide.
Okay.
So for two people, you can stand like side to side with each other as you proceed down, with one person behind, or you can go single file.
All right. So how do we feel about bringing the fight to us rather than charging in?
Are you two good at ranged fighting?
I would prefer it.
Nesca?
I generally need to be up close and personal.
Very well.
Wait, how far?
The eyes have it.
All right. Ivar is going to take a moment and touch his pendant, and then his forehead. Let them come.
Jal will use his action to light that brazier to give our friends the light that they need. And did you just turn the music off intentionally? Okay. That really was like, oh God, what have I done?
You do you, man.
But with that moment, if he says let them come, Ja will take up a point between the two of them and shout down the hallway, all right, you pieces of shit, come and get yourself some Jal Horted. And I'm going to Eldritch Blast the very first one that I can see.
And you see, there are actually, as you illuminate the passageway and you yell, you definitely see that there's a hierarchy among these figures. There are some that are down on all fours and they're just making, and they sort of flex and like contort their muscles. And suddenly you see almost that these appear to be humanoid, but they're on all fours. And they have chains that are wrapped around their necks. And it appears like they're being used almost like a hunting dog. As the chains, there looks to be about 10 foot of chain then wrapped around the hands of these very tall, pale, blackened-eyed Red Guard that turn to you. Jal, you wished in this moment that there would be a flicker, just for a second, of recognition. And there's nothing there. And it's just, and suddenly, and you see fangs just appear in the mouths of these Red Guard as they just charge down, leading these quadruped humanoid people just is down the passageway, running full tilt at you guys. Okay.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
I need you
Here's those two beautiful words.
to roll for initiative.
Hey, there it is.
Sorry, I made it 3 words.
Oh my God.
Not great. Oh no.
Thought that I did mediocre, so do I have the best?
I rolled a 5.
I got 13.
I did roll the best. I got a 15.
So Jal got a 15. Ivar got a 5. Nesca, you got a
13.
13.
This is good. You guys need time for them to come closer. Anyway, it's planned. It's planned. That's exactly what we need.
Top of the order is the Red Guard, a Red Guard. This Red Guard. Now, the thing about the way you're configured is that the two of you, Nesca and Ivar, you're standing in front of Jal. And Jal, you're just sort of holding yourself, ready to launch a spell. At this point, this vampire Red Guard, you see them start to walk as they approach, and then start to break into a jog and then a run. As they just start to run full tilt, this vampire guard drops the chains that he has wrapped around his wrist. As almost a sign from the Red Guard, these vampire, blood-starved, start to charge at you on all fours. This vampire Red Guard runs up to you, Ivar, and he is going to He pulls out a longsword, a very mean-looking longsword, and just charges at you. And he's going to make an attack with his longsword against you. That is an 11. Does an 11 hit?
What would be my rebuke to that?
Your AC at the top, your armor class, right next to your initiative.
Oh yeah, that's a miss.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
He comes in, bangs, bared, longsword wielding, just comes in and tries to cut at you right at the shoulder, and he just glances off your armor. You're just standing there, very grim, just like you take it. And you're just like, fuck you. And that brings up. He attacks one time. That brings up the second vampire red guard. He's running at you. He is also going to attack you, Ivar, with his longsword. That is an 18.
That's a hit.
That is a hit. Hold on 1 second. That is 6 points of slashing damage. Hanging back a ways from the vampiric red guard is what looks to be. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why this. There we go. Coming slower, definitely with a more methodical pace to his step, is a vampiric red guard, but with a brilliantly blue sash that comes down, signifying, and Jal, you immediately recognize, this would be a captain in the red guard. This would be technically somebody that you would recognize. Maybe you've seen their face before. You don't necessarily know them by name, but it's somebody that you recognize as being above you.
Bud.
And with that, I can only take so much of that music before I start to get creeped out.
I was loving it.
Hold on.
We were in it.
I might have a better. There we go.
Also, there's a reaction thing. I don't know if I have to wait till the next thing or if I can do it based on one of the attacks that hit me.
It's a reaction. You can react to the attack. You get one reaction per round, though, so
Okay.
you would only be able to react to one.
Yes. So when that slashing hit hits me, I'd like to try to use Hellish Rebuke.
Okay. Yes, you are able to do that. What does Ivar's Hellish Rebuke look like?
So he was there when the first attack comes. He literally just shifted his shoulder to make his armor dodge. And then as he did that, he opened up. So the next attack hit him and made him stumble slowly. He just turns to look at the creature that hit him. He just points at it and goes, "The flames of a Minotaur see you, and so do I." And with that, the energy from him just flows through the vampire, sending the hellish flames his direction. And I also already did my wisdom saving throw, and it was above 15. So far, so good in regards to my sword.
Okay. Yes. You are still in this moment. The voice returns, and even over the din of battle, it's still something that pervades your mind and senses. And it says, "Oh yes, let us out. let us out. And you let this energy just sort of course through you. It courses out of the sword and out across your arms as you point and you say, and so do I. And the vampire is like, how much damage does it take?
2d10s.
Are you going to roll it, or do you want me to?
You can do it, I suppose.
Ooh, D10s. 3d10. That is 10 points of damage. As this black flame just licks over this vampire's body, and he just screams in pain as the flame just sort of permeates into him and through him. He takes 10 points of damage. This damage is not fire damage, though, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's fire
fire
damage.
damage. It is fire damage. Yep. He takes the fire damage. That brings up the top vampire as he strides slowly forward, and he is going to move his full movement as he starts to step into the air, up until he is just above head height. His feet are just above head height as he's just starting to run through midair, just going, and he just comes right down on top of you, Nesca. And he is going to make an attack. He is actually not going to take out his sword. He is actually going to he's going to what's the term? He's going to square up on you. And he is going to just start to lay some unarmed strikes against you. He is going to make 2 melee attacks unarmed. Oh. As a 15.
Oof. Yeah.
And that is
That
a
means
12.
Miss.
Oh, so 15 hits. So that is... And you see, as he's making these attacks against you, he's actively trying to find weak points in your defense. He is surprised, though, at your sort of your studied stance as you're trying to you block one blow, and then another jab just comes in right under your defense right here, and it just comes in and jabs you right in the ribs. He comes in with a an uppercut, and you block it with your body a little bit, and you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. He does have one more attack, though. As in lieu of making another unarmed strike against you, he is going to try and grapple you. That is a 15.
This is a contested.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure... Yes. So this is... Yeah. So this actually... Okay. So once the vampire can also grapple the target. Okay. Yeah. So this is a contested. So yeah, you got to beat a 15.
Ooh, contested strength.
Yes.
15.
Okay. All right. So he tries to slip under your defense and come in and try to grab you at the neck. You just very deftly you're blocking the blows, but you do take some of that initial damage. He just snarls at you cruelly as he just is pissed that he wasn't able to get in as closely as he wanted to. That completes his turn. That brings up one of the dogs. The quadrupedal humanoid vampire is just on the ground, dragging its chain. It just comes in and just leaps up right alongside the captain. Comes in right up next to you, Nesca, and tries to come in and is going to trying to make 2 bite attacks against you. That's a 2. That is an 18.
Yes, that hits.
That hits. 6. That is 1 point of piercing damage. As the bite comes in, it's almost like a nick on your arm. As you're trying to block the blows from this captain, the vampire comes in and just raises with its teeth and just rakes into your arm. You feel it break the skin, and as it does, you feel like this almost a weakening in your arm you feel a numbness, and you feel this black ichor that comes out of the wound. And you look down, and it's almost like this weird thing that is moving through your veins. And you take 11 points of necrotic damage. In this moment also, you feel an immense weakness fill your body, and your hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken.
Rude.
Vampires suck.
That completes
Literally.
that completes its turn. Jal, it is your turn.
Lordy.
Really quick. Ivar, what damage did you take?
I think
Only
it was
one.
about. No, I thought it was about 5. I'm
pretty sure it was 5.
Yeah,
5.
I had lost 3 when I landed, and then I lost that. So that would be, I think so.
And Nesca, you took 12 points of damage. 1 from the bite, and
the
then
dog?
11. Yeah.
I'm
So
currently
12,
at 56.
And then, Nesca, what was the damage? I think it was 8. Was it 8 points of damage
8 from the punch.
captain? Okay. All right. And then Jal. Jal, it is your turn.
All right. So just to remind me again, so I'm back row.
Yep.
And then I have like
They literally,
in front of
the
me.
vampires literally can't get to you, like, because
Right.
they have Ivar and Nesca right in front of them.
Okay, and then Ivar has 2 vampires. Nesca has the captain and a dog, quote unquote. Correct?
Yep.
And then how many are behind them? Like, how many enemies are we dealing with total?
Total. You are dealing with 7.
Okay, so then there's.
Oh no.
So
Well,
are the
based off of your tally, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 vampiric red guard, 2 blood-starved dog vampires, and the 1 captain.
All right, so Alrighty, so he's going to kind of like see how this is playing out. There's some people coming up on Ivar. There's some people coming up on Nesca. Yeah, I gotta be sure. So at that point, Jaw's going to look towards the captain and say, "Hands off the lady," and a wall of green energy will pop up between Nesca and the captain, and then push against him. He will need to make a strength saving throw against my telekinetic shove, DC 15.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. Yeah, you said a strength saving throw.
Yes. He's probably beefy. I know this going into it.
That is a dirty 20.
Yep, that'll do it.
You rolled
So
a 17.
alrighty. So with the shove not working, he's Jaw's gonna kind of narrow his eyes at him, go, "I said back off," and cast, throw his ring forward, and just a giant fist is gonna pop out as I throw, or two giant fists, I should say, as I cast Eldritch Blast, both of them going right at him. So let's see if I could beat his AC today. We got +7. So first Eldritch Blast, that is a 21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, so I will roll damage for that one. Is this my D10? Yes, it is. So that's going to be 7 points of force damage and pushing him back 10 feet.
Okay.
I did. Oh, go ahead.
So that was 7 points
Yeah.
damage. Okay. And was that it?
Well, 2 rays I have to roll separately. So second one, let's see, +7. That's a dirty 20. So
That hits.
Alrighty. So D10 again. That one is 5 points of damage and another 10 feet back.
Okay. Nesca, you're and you sort of wince in pain as you feel sort of a weakening in your body and in your arm, and you see this smug grimace from this vampire captain, almost as he's bringing his sword up, and then suddenly 2 massive green fists from on either side just come streaking out of nowhere from behind you, and just crack into this vampiric red guard as he is knocked 20 feet away from you. You just now have the dog in front of you, or at least one of them. Does that complete your turn, Jal?
That's bonus action and action. I do just want to make sure that, like, with where I am, I'm within 10 feet of each of them, probably, and then that's.
Oh, you're
be
right
it for
behind
my
him.
turn.
You're
Okay.
right behind him. Yeah, you're good. Nesca, it is your turn.
She hisses as she shakes her arm out. And while spinning and dodging the attacks happening around her, she's going to flip her hood back just so she's got more perception around her. And she's also not quite human. There's some odd features, little ridges above her brows, 2 small little horns sort of at her forehead as well. And using momentum, she's just going to do unarmed strikes against the dog in front of her.
Okay.
22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Now, I've never played this class before, so I get 2 attacks. Yes.
Yep.
Hang on. 6 points.
6 points.
On my
okay.
first attack. Second. Oh, that's going to be a 24. Wait, no.
That hits.
25 to hit. 5 points for the second one. And then as a bonus action, I'm going to do Flurry of Blows.
Brilliant. Love it.
I believe.
I love monks.
Yeah.
Fucking monks.
Flurry of Blows is a key point. I will mark that off. So next attack.
How many key points do you have at 7th level?
I have 7. It's
Oh,
one
okay.
key point per
Right.
level.
Yep.
That's another 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
You watch me roll in that one for the rest of the game. That's another 5. And last attack. That's going to be an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Lovely. And then I'm also going to do Hand of Harm on this one. Oops, didn't mean to roll that, but
Hand of Harm. Now, is that a bonus action, or is that a
it's
special?
It just says I can expend a key point.
Okay, so I believe you can only
when I hit a creature.
I believe you can only expend 1 key point on the bonus action. So you can choose to do Flurry of Blows or Hand of Harm.
Hang on, let me go to. Sorry, guys. Oh, where would I find? Let's go all.
I can look it up too. So hold on one second. And
If I'm remembering correctly, I do believe that you are allowed to spend more than 1 key point per turn.
I
because
think as long
a
as I
big-
have the key points, I can do it.
okay.
Yeah, because
You hit-
monks for the most part will like stunning strike every turn, and that costs keys.
Yeah.
So
yes, yeah, you do Hand of Harm.
Yep, and that was 1d6, 7 points of necrotic damage.
How do you want to do this?
As her fist connects with the side of this thing, it's almost like black acid seems to explode from it and just eats away at the flesh as this poisonous necrotic energy consumes its face, eating away into its brain and just dropping it.
Okay.
love that.
Yeah. You took that initial damage from the captain and from the dog. The 2 fists just streak out from behind you and just knock the captain back. He's sort of like, he raises himself up just in time to see his dog just come to a grisly end. As it's just, has anyone here seen the movie Ip Man? Okay, so
No.
it's Donnie Yen in Ip Man. If you have a chance, just look up Donnie Yen Ip Man dojo scene. And it is basically, here, I'll just throw up a GIF. Throw up a GIF.
That's just
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen like a million gifs.
do
and I
yourself a
just
favor. Do
that-
yourself
that-
a favor.
yeah.
Oh,
I need time. I play D&D too much.
oh.
I
Sorry.
think I have
getting
done
too-
this. I have used this GIF just to illustrate a monk so many times. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you just bludgeon this thing's skull repeatedly, just and you just basically bury it in the dirt and the filth in the ground as its body has become a bloody pulp. At this point, the exertion, your hood is thrown back, your true form is revealed. At this point, what do Ivar and Jal see?
They see more of the red monk clothing that peeks out from under the collar of a hood. I just got really hot, which is why I took it off.
It's perfectly timed.
And yeah, intentional. So the facial features sort of hint at a potential lineage of Dragonborn mix, but there's actually sort of like a separation sort of under the eyes and across the jawbone that would also indicate a mask. And now that you can see her eyes, they are black and red and slitted.
What do you do when you see this, Ivar and Jal?
Honestly, Ivar is probably going to take note of it, but he's in the middle of fighting 2 guards. So it's not really something that at the moment is his focus of attention. He's probably literally just like engaged in, battle.
Okay. Yeah, so you just finished just destroying this thing. You come up and you're just heavy, like your exertion, and you're just like, and it just comes out in this sort of this guttural hissing sound that you don't normally like to use. You always like to keep that under wraps, but sometimes it comes out when you're just really fucking pissed. That completes your turn, unless you have anything else that you.
That was action, bonus action. Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, that completes its turn. That brings up the second dog. The second dog, seeing its partner taken out, is going to charge at you, Nesca. It is pissed. It's running and it rears up and it's just going to, and it is going to make 2 claw attacks against you. That is a 16.
Hits.
That hits. That is a 19.
Hits.
2 hits. I need d4s. God, I love
This music is exactly what I'm feeling.
I love this particular song too. That is 9 points of 9 points of slashing damage to you. That completes its turn. That brings up one of the vampire guards. The vampire guard is going to run up, and he is going to. He can't get a good line of sight because right now. Oh, wait a minute. No, the captain. He's going to run around the captain, and he's going to charge in, and he's going to make another attack against you, Nesca. That brings. He's going to make 1 long sword attack against you. That's a 7. So that completes his turn. The remaining vampire guard is going to actually hang back. And he's going to draw a longbow. And he's going to launch it at you, Jal.
I bet he will.
That is a 22 to hit.
Just got me.
That is 2 points of piercing damage.
I think I can handle that. All right. 2 points. Got it.
Okay. Got it. Okay. That brings us to Ivar, the Banisher, bottom of the order.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this.
So question. I basically have one action, 1 bonus action for my round, correct? Like,
So as a paladin at your level, I believe you can attack more than once
Yes.
during your action. Yeah.
but if that would only be if I'm doing, like if I were to do a spell, do I still have 2 attacks, or that needs to be like actually like a sword attack? Like
You
if
can
I
use
want to,
you can use one of your attacks to be a spell attack, or you can use. Let me just.
okay. So basically, if I have a spell that it's an action, I can still
Mhm.
use that spell as an action and then use the other
Yeah.
one as an attack, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, let's try this. How far from me did the captain end up flying?
20 feet.
So he's 20 feet away from me.
Yeah.
So my first thing that I'm going to do is Ivar is going to take advantage of the vampire he burst in flames, and taking his sword, he's going to just slash at it toward like the shoulder, basically trying to, if possible, just remove the primary arm. So I'm gonna do that as my first action.
So is it the vampire guard that's directly in front of you?
That's the vampire guard that is directly in front of me.
Got it.
In D&D Beyond, I would roll the 1d8, like not the big square, but the small square with the slashing, I think, correct?
For the damage, yes.
For the longsword.
Yes. So yeah, if you're looking at your character.
Okay, so did you see? I don't know if you saw the result, but so I took a 16 and an 18.
Against the two attacks against the vampire. That is, yes, both hit.
Okay. So technically that takes both of my actions.
For the attack, yes. Unless you have other bonus actions that you would like to do.
Yes, because basically what I wanted to do is I want to do one strike, not two. I wanted to do one strike to the vampire.
Okay. So that would be, so you can say the 16 hits. All right.
Yes. Okay. So one of them, I'll just take that. So basically, within that hit, trying to push me out of the way. Then Ivar just locks eyes with the captain, and he just storms toward it with the sword and everything, raises his hand, and just
so that you know,
yeah.
This kind of movement, you're attacking, then you're trying to move.
Yes.
Move to attack the captain. That is
Yes.
going to incur an attack of opportunity from the one that's immediately in front of you. Because even though you are moving him out of the way, you are still having to move through his space, his threat range.
Okay.
And so he's able to make one attack against you with his longsword.
Got it. Okay. Let me see one second.
Well,
okay, so actually,
while you were doing that, do you mind if I quickly go get some water?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead. This is like solving a puzzle, like just figuring out all the things that I can do.
Honestly, I say go for it, even if they get an attack of opportunity, because it's just one chance to try to hit you. And
technically,
you have.
The thing is that technically, I don't need to advance, but the visual of the action,
Right.
it just makes sense for him.
Flavor over function. I like it though.
Yes. It's like I don't necessarily need to do the move, but the move is very much fitting for him.
Take your moment.
Yes. So even though I don't need to do the move, I think Ivar is going to do the move. So after making that first strike to the vampire near him, Ivar is going to lock eyes with the captain, and he's going to.
Hold on, really quick. How much damage did you do to the initial vampire that you attacked?
So I rolled a 16. That's, what is that, 10?
So you rolled a 16 to hit.
Yes.
And so it's 2d8 for the damage.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So 2d8 for the damage. That's 8.
Oh no! So here's the thing. So it looks like the longsword of vengeance. It looks like you rolled for your 2 attacks originally. It looks like you rolled a 16. Oh wait.
It was a.
Okay. Hold on. So I think what you're doing is actually rolling damage as opposed to making the attack. It looks like, at least. So with the so you're rolling a d20 when you make the attack, but then you're rolling a d8. You're rolling 2d8 for the damage. I'm just looking at the I'm looking at the action log. So
Gotcha.
give me an attack roll. So if you click,
That's the one.
so if you select your hit DC,
Mm-hmm.
you should be allowed to click that, and it will roll.
28.
That's a hit. So that's the first attack.
With a natural 20.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is I like to you deal as much damage humanly possible. So that's 16 damage plus. Do you have any bonuses attached to
Yes.
damage?
Yes.
That's
Because
16.
I am a slasher as well. So
Okay. So really quick, for just the base damage of the sword, it's 2d8 plus.
plus 8.
2d8. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, why am I seeing? So Longsword of Vengeance is 1d8 plus 7. Or 1d10 plus 7. I'm assuming if it's two-handed versus one-handed.
In my damage and my longsword that I have equipped, it says 1d8 plus 8. And then in parentheses in gray is 1d10.
I see.
plus 8.
I see. I was misreading that earlier when I was looking at the damage. It's not another d8. It's just the bonus.
Yes.
So yes. So you would deal 15 points of damage. Plus, so you would take that. So it's the 15, and then, so you did.
It's also okay.
So what? Wait, what was the damage? So what was the damage you rolled initially?
16. Oh,
So,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you double that. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to do math in my head.
damn it, math.
So yeah, you would double the total damage that you rolled. So it's so that would just be 1d8 plus. So that'd be 50. Okay, so that was 6. Okay, so yeah, you would have 30 points of damage that you do to this one guy, and you cut him right through the waist, and like it's like the scene in Underworld with Celine cutting into Victor, except through the waist, and he's like rearing to go, like he's ready to attack you in the next round. I'm next on the initiative order, but it doesn't matter because you've already sliced him in half, and suddenly his legs give and his top torso area just crumples to the ground, and he just suddenly there's just legs standing, and then they eventually give. So he's dead. So now there is actually a space where you wouldn't incur any additional attacks of opportunity.
Well, there's also a wonderful thing because I am a great weapon master. So when I hit a critical, I can actually do another attack. So technically, I have another attack plus also another action.
Kill them all.
Kill everyone. We're gonna kill everybody.
So obviously, so Ivar slashes the vampire in half, stays in that position as the body falls, and his eyes just lock with the other vampire next to him, which is the one that first attacked him on the shoulder and missed. He's still near me, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's right there.
Yeah, so that's Ivar's just going to take the momentum of his sword and just go for the neck on that character. And so I'm going to roll and that's 16.
That hits. That gets past his AC. Yeah.
Right. That also means that because I have slashing damage, that creature's speed is reduced
To 0
by 10 feet until the start of their next turn.
Yep. So start a minute. Okay, got it.
Yes.
And then so that's 1d8 plus 7 that you have to roll for the damage.
Yes. 1d8 plus 8.
1d8 plus 8.
So that would be a 11.
Okay, so that guy's dead. Get rid of him. And then 11 points of damage to this guy, and I believe you have one action left.
Yes. So this next action, after slicing the head of the second one,
You cut deep into the plate mail on this other guard, and he just sort of locks, and he just is like, and he's just sort of doing the Urukai thing to Aragorn. He's just crawling up the blade. Just, what do you choose to do next?
So since he has the thing, and I shove him off the sword, I lock eyes with the captain, and I just advance toward him, and I'm going to use.
Okay, so since you didn't kill the one directly that's still in front of you, he does get one attack of opportunity against you. So he would have to roll one attack.
Oh, God! So this one is not dead.
Yeah, so
This one
he's not dead.
isn't dead
He took
yet.
11 points of damage. He's hit, but he's not dead.
Okay. Fuck it, I'll take it. I'll take that roll for the sake
Okay.
of. I'll take that roll.
That is a 16.
That's the same as my.
Oh,
my
he
armor
makes it then.
class. So it's a
Okay.
hit.
So he
Beats
Yep,
it, beats
that
it.
yeah,
Come
makes it.
on.
Fine, I'll take it.
That is 8 points of slashing damage to you.
Okay. So Ivar sort of like just draws the sword out of it. Let's get the hit. It's almost like he's ignoring this guy as he
Yeah,
moves
just moved right
he
past
just
him.
moves right past him toward the captain.
Yeah, you cover the 20 feet real quick.
I cover the 20 feet real quick with like complete determination. And Ivar just reaches his hand as he aims to use Crown of Madness on the captain, which means that he needs to make a wisdom throw.
Okay, what is
Love this
this
spell.
vampire's? Oh, what is his wisdom? Oh, he does have a plus in wisdom, but we're gonna see.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
that is
no.
that is a 14.
It needs. Oh man, his wisdom 14 the save.
So he made. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, he made.
Oh,
You reach. No, Ivar. He reaches out and and you feel the voice. He's like, "Yes, our next victim." And it's like something got stuck, and the vampire. He's been focused on Nesca and being pushed back, and he just saw one of his dogs get beaten down, 2 soldiers getting hit, and then he just looks at you running up at him and just with your hand, and he just whips over at you. Okay, so it's technically not a melee attack, but okay, never mind. I have a cool reaction with this captain. Maybe I'll get to use it next round. Who knows? Yeah, he looks fucking pissed at you as he feels this sort of invasion of his mind, and then he's just like, and that completes your turn.
you believe so.
Okay. That brings us back up to the top of the initiative order with that guy's dead. Okay. The vampire. Actually, your back is to this vampire. The vampire that you hit but didn't kill, Ivar. He has like a deep cut into his chest that you sort of like ripped your blade out and then charged at the other vampire. He hits you as you pass by. Nesca, you're facing in that direction and you see, and this vampire Redguard just sort of, and the cut heals. And he regains 10 hit points.
And
Beginning of a round. Yep.
That is 10 too many.
mm-hmm.
The vampire has a cool ability called regeneration.
Okay.
Regains 10 hit points at the start of its turn if it has at least 1 hit point, and it isn't in sunlight or running water. The vampire, you're not dealing radiant damage with that sword, are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
No, I don't think you are.
I mean, I think I would probably need to use a particular.
No, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look like there's any radiant damage involved.
No, not in that particular sword. I think I may have like a power or something that I could use, but I would need to like call it for that.
Okay.
I think.
All right. That it is actually going to charge right back up on you. So you cut into him and then you left and he hacked at you. He's going to actually run right up behind you as you try to make the Crown of Madness spell work on the captain. And he's going to come in with his sword and he's going to make an attack. And he is going to get advantage on this because he's technically flanking you.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
Are you? Yeah.
Or am I just that touch too?
I mean, if he's attacking me, he's basically
Yeah,
giving it
you're
back
right
to
next
both
to
of
him.
them.
I'll allow it. Yeah, you get 1 attack of opportunity.
I'll take it. Yeah, no, I'll take it. 24.
Ah.
This is just an unarmed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
7 points. 7 points of bludgeoning.
Woo. Yep. So as he's turning to make an attack against Ivar, to catch him right in the back, you just and you just kick him right in the plate mail in the side area, and you just cave it in, and you just and he sort of shakes it off as he charges up against Ivar. Ivar, he is going to make a sword attack against you. That's a 3. He misses. So yeah, you're just in the midst of like the spell, and the captain's like, okay, and then suddenly like the obsidian blade that you have in your hand, you see a reflection of the vampire coming in behind you, and you just move your head to one side as the blade just cuts through the air, completely misses you. You are now suddenly have both vampires on you at this point. That completes his turn. That brings up Mr. Captain. Mr. Captain is going. What does he want to do? So many good things. Let's see.
Talk about it?
Yes, let's talk. Let's talk a bunch. He is actually going to draw his sword, and it is a rapier of the captain of the city, and he is going to make 2 rapier attacks. That is a 15 and a 16.
1 hits.
1 hits. That is 11 points of piercing damage that he makes on you. So it's like you come up and you dodge, and he just lays into you with his rapier, just stabbing into your. You're wearing full plate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just finding the groove, like a weak point in the plate mail, and the blade just finds purchase right in your chest, and you're just like, and you just the voice in your head is like, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. No, and that brings us.
Do I get to use Hellish Rebuke?
How many times per day can you do this? Is there not a limit? I know that for certain things there is a limit.
You just know it as a spell, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see if it says anything about limits, but
Okay.
it doesn't. It just basically says, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say anything.
It's
It
just
says
a
one
spell.
reaction. It's just
Yep.
one reaction, which is taken response to being damaged by a creature,
Yep.
which is.
So you
60.
used your reaction the previous round. So yeah, you would be able to use this as a reaction this round.
Great. So for that, I'll basically, when he gets that attack and he gets the sword, the strike on it, he just mimics the other vampire that was like sort of like pulling, but he just uses that to like hold the blade with one hand, and then with the other he just basically just kind of like pulls it off and just diverts the body to yank him close, and then he just breathes to the vampire, to the captain, as he says, "Fiend!" And that fiend and that air basically becomes like a dragon breath that flows toward it with the fire damage.
How much damage is it?
So I think you need to roll a dexterity, actually.
Yeah.
It's a saving
Which was
throw.
missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was missed the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy would have failed.
That is a dirty 20.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Okay, so he takes half damage then?
It takes half of 2d10s. So basically, I rolled an 8, so basically it would take 4.
So he takes 4 points damage.
Of fire damage to his face.
The flames lick over his face, and the skin begins to bubble and ooze this black ichor as the flames begin to purge the body. That completes his turn. That brings up Jal.
So if I am looking at this correctly, yeah. So the one that is behind Ivar that Nesca got the attack of opportunity on.
Yep.
I'm going to use my bonus action telekinetic shove. Try to use it as like we're gonna call it a like octopus squid tentacle just comes and tries to grab him and yank him back. He will need to make a strength save, DC 15.
That is a 14.
All right, so I get to yank him 5 feet closer to me. That's not quite good enough for me though, so I'm going to Eldritch Blast him as well. So both. Actually, I'm gonna split it because I believe that there's one person still in front of Nesca.
Yes.
Okay.
There's another.
So...
There's one. There is one more dog. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to the vampire that I just yoinked. I'm gonna give him an Eldritch Blast. Number 1. That's gonna miss, so that's a total of 10.
Yep.
All right, so then that one didn't quite land, but I'm going to throw the other one at the dog in front of Nesca. That is a 21 to hit.
That hits.
I gotta be sure. Where is it? Okay, so I didn't do this last turn, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. Genie's Vessel. So I will use my Genie's Wrath feature, and I will add 3 bludgeoning damage to the attack that I make on this dog. So 1d10 plus 3. That's going to be a total of 11 points of damage. I have the Crusher feat. So since I did bludgeoning damage to this dog, I'm going to yank it 5 feet, or I'm going to push it 5 feet away from Nesca. And then with the repelling blast feature of Eldritch Blast, another 10 feet. So I'm just going to hurl this thing 15 feet back as just like a great club of beers, and like playing T-ball, just crack it back down the hallway.
Holy fuck. Okay. Yeah. I'm just picturing like so many green appendages just suddenly appearing out of the air, just going.
Yeah, so octopus tentacle yanks the dude back. You know, another
basically
one comes,
pulling.
doesn't quite yank.
Okay, so
pull the vampire, yeet the dog.
Hold on. So the blood starved. Or the original one, you do pull back. So he's 5 feet from Ivar. He's not facing this guy, so he's not going to get an attack of opportunity. The one that's in front of Nesca, though, definitely gets when it gets knocked back, Nesca, you do get an attack. Oh wait, no, you've already used your
No,
attack.
I've used my reaction.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Never mind.
Okay. I thought I was trying to be so cool. It
It would have been really cool.
Yeah, it is also knocked back, and it is going to it is technically disengaged from Nesca. That completes Jaw's turn, unless Jaw.
The only thing that I have left is movement, and if I'm going to use that, just judging by off of sight, how bad does Nesca look?
Nesca, how bad do you look?
I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah, I'm hurt.
seeing that, Jal is just going to kind of step up. Maybe not in front of, but like, next to and a step forward from Nesca, just to kind of give whatever comes up another target. Just to kind of take a little bit of the heat off. And
So basically jumping in where Ivar was?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And just to kind of give it another option, kind of sit there, hand raised, rapier in the offhand, just waiting for something to come up if I need to. Give it another option, like I said, just to try to take that heat off.
Okay.
And that'll be me.
Alrighty. Nesca, it is your turn.
Alrighty. Just gonna look to. I don't even think we got your name. But just this dude.
Green dude. Green man.
Dude. Just appreciated. And I'm gonna dart forward, not too far, just to get back within range of the vampire. And I'm going to attack again with an unarmed strike.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 15. I think that's going to miss.
No, 15 makes it. Yeah, its armor class is 14.
Sweet. Oh, cool.
You're going
Alright.
against the Bloodstar, the dog vampire, right?
No, because that went 15. Well, if I went to the dog, the vampire would get an attack of opportunity.
Oh, I see which one you're talking about. Okay, yes.
Yeah, so I went to the vampire.
Okay. Okay. You said you got a 15?
15 to hit.
Yes, that makes it. Yeah.
Oh, amazeballs. All right. 9 points on the first attack. Second attack. That's another 18. So that's going to be 24 to hit. 4, 5, 6, another 7 points, and then flurry of blows. Another 2 attacks. That one's going to be an 18 to hit. 5, 6, another 8 points. And then with my last strike, I'm just going to touch the wound that the necrotic energy poured into me and use Hand of Healing.
I mean, I'm leaving for your reactions, honestly. Dan. Like, Dandy. That's it.
And
What?
that is
The
max healing. I get 8 healing. Okay.
Okay.
That is my turn.
Well, how do you want to do this?
Oh, sorry.
I mean, you take the hits, but like you're dealing out as good as you get. So it's like
Nesca's a bully.
yeah, like
for
I'm
a
dead.
for a 5'3" petite little thing. So yeah, she just hisses. She's going to snarl and hiss something else in another language. Do either of you speak Abyssal?
I don't think so.
The equivalent,
you can't
basically,
hear-
of "take that, suckers."
pretty much. So she's just laying onto it, and as ribs are breaking, skin's shattering, the zombie falls to the ground, and she just stands there and just touches herself, and this same kind of poisonous-looking energy sort of glows. Like the skin blisters as if it was poisoned, but when it disappears, it's like there's nothing. There's no wound.
How much healing do you get back?
I get 1d6 plus 2, and I rolled a
Okay.
6.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. You
Mark off my
take the
key
healing. You like
points.
the weakness in your arm leaves, and your healing takes effect, and the muscles sort of regrow and become strong once again as the black ichor leaves the veins, and you just beat the living undead, technically, shit out of this thing, and it just crumples in front of you. It just lay into it. You cut its knees out from under it, you break its legs, and then you uppercut it right in the face, taking your fist pass right through the weak point, right underneath the jaw, and you just punch up into its head and then rip out the jaw from its face. And the vampire is just
Nasty.
and just crumples to the ground. It's dead. Okay. Wow. Alrighty. That brings up unless you have more to do, Nesca. I really hope you do.
I was going to see key points. I don't know if I can. Oh, where is it? I was going to see if I could spend a key point to do patient defense, but I think that's something else. It's fine.
Okay. All right. That brings up the lone vampire guard with the longbow. Just seeing its comrade get brutally, savagely destroyed by this snaky monk lady, he just launches. He's going to take. He's going to launch 2 arrows at you, just quick succession.
Oh, let's go.
That is a 16 and a 15.
They will both hit, but I can deflect missiles one of them.
Okay, well, let's do the damage for the one that you can't deflect first.
That's my reaction.
That's 4 points of piercing damage. So,
So,
and you get it right in the shoulder. And the first, so you take that arrow, and then what happens with the second arrow?
So as the second one hits me in the shoulder, I'm just going to spin with the momentum and catch the arrow. And because I can reduce the damage by 1d10 plus 10, I'm assuming I can just continue that momentum and launch it back at him.
Yep, you can.
You just have a free hand, you can spend 1 key point to make a ranged attack. So.
That's 1d8 plus 1 piercing damage.
1d8, so 19 to hit.
That hits.
God, I love monks! Why do I not play them more? So 1d8.
Why don't I play them more?
I rolled a 7, plus what?
Plus 1.
8 points of piercing.
So, and you just spin around and fling the arrow, and it actually moves faster from your hand than the longbow shot arrow did, and it just goes, and it just catches this vampire right in the neck. It just black ichor just spurts from its neck wound as it just takes the arrow. It's undead and just rips the arrow out of its neck, taking 8 points of piercing damage. That completes its turn. More like another Nesca turn. And that brings up Ivar the Banisher.
Okay. So Ivar is. So currently we have how many enemies are still standing?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Okay. Ivar is just going to.
Shouldn't it be 3?
No, because one healed. The captain. the remaining dog and the longbow dude.
Yeah.
So the
Sorry, I
one
forgot
the
he
sword,
healed.
the sword vampire is definitely still dead. The one remaining vampire guard with the longbow is still operating, and then there's the blood starved. Oh, there's two vampire guards. Sorry, there's two vampire guards. One with a longbow, one with a long sword, and then there's the captain, and then there's one remaining blood starved. So
All right. Ivar is going to keep his sword low. He's just going to continue this up close thing with the captain, where he's going to just look at him and go and say, "I will have your will," and once more try to reach, and this time he's going to use control undead from his Oathbreaker skill. Still the same wisdom saving throw.
wisdom.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
That is an 11. Tell me what this looks like. Describe this.
Oh, it feels good.
So this is control undead, correct?
This controls the undead for 24 hours.
Okay.
So Ivar, basically, as he lowered his sword and he said, "I will have your will," he launches his hand, puts the hand on the forehead of the captain, and then through that is just, he breathes him in. It's almost like he just allows his energy and his power to full connect into the captain. And then after he does that, while still holding the captain's head, he leans into the captain's side and whispers to him, "Take care of your archer." And he just pushes him toward the archer as he then turns around to the guy who healed itself. And he goes, "I have not forgotten about you." And flourishing his weapon, he's going to go toward healed vampire, to use his second action.
So you've done this thing to the captain, and now you're turning around.
Yes. So I basically send the captain toward the bow person, and then I'm turning around toward the healed vampire.
Got it.
All right.
Yep.
And so I'm going to do he's going to use his sword to send a strike to him. That's a 17.
That's a hit.
And one thing that I had forgotten is that I have Divine Smite, which means that I deal 2d8s of extra damage plus 1d8 more for undead creatures. So basically, I'll have the 1d8. I'll do the 1d8. So basically that's 4d8 total. That's 4d8 total.
Let me just-
plus, yeah.
So you're using Channel Divinity to control undead as an action.
Yes.
Target one undead. He failed his charisma. Now you're doing let's see. Divine Smite. When you hit, so he hit with a weapon attack, so you deal you expend one spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage. That will keep him from healing.
Yes. Because he's an undead, I get 1d8 extra.
For each spell. All right. He is at 17 hit points. Give me the 4d8. And if it isn't 17, then I'm just going to be like, go ahead.
Also remember that I also have a +8 damage for the sword.
Right. So it's
4d8.
It's 1d8 plus 8.
Yes.
So roll that damage, and then it's an additional
Yes.
d8 for the radiant or additional 4d8 for the radiant damage.
So the regular d8, the 1d8 is 2, so it's a 10.
So 10, and
10
then
damage.
give me the rest of the radiant damage.
So now I'm rolling 3d8s for radiant. And that's 14.
How do you want to do this?
So basically, okay. So Ivar just walks slow sword, just chest forward toward this vampire. And he's walking in this way to sort of try to make himself look as if he's exposed. And as he's about to reach, when he knows he's within the reach of his sword, vertically, or basically in the direction, he lifts the sword and makes a thrust to just like tab on the shoulder of the creature, which seems like it's not a big deal, but it's right there. As he does that, he puts the hand on the pommel and he just goes, "May the flames find you, serve you, keep you, and burn you until the end of time." And that's how then the radiance from his body just starts channeling from the pommel through the side of the sword and then into the blade. The blade sparkles, and it's just like there's a slight flash of light before the light seems to be consumed through the wound of the vampire and just goes into it, as if it's like just a projectile of radiance power into the vampire.
As this happens, as you say these words, it's almost as if, is there an echo in here? Because as you're saying it, and as this energy is coalescing within the sword and then getting pushed into this vampire, the words are also being said in your mind by the whispered voice. And it goes in and it boils inside this vampire's chest, and the energy comes up into his throat and then shoots out of his eyes and mouth as this radiant flame just consumes him from the inside out, and he just burns to a cinder in front of you, and he is gone. That, unless there's more that you would like to do, that completes Ivar's turn.
So right now, what we have left, so I guess at that point was as the vampire just burns asunder in front of him, he's going to take a deep breath into that energy, and he's just going to focus on divine favor for his next turn in case he needs to use it.
Okay. That completes Ivar's turn. Ivar, as all that is sitting on the blade right now, as you slowly pull it away, is ash that just sort of has collected on the blade. You sort of flick the blade, the ash falls to the ground, and you just, and the voice inside your head says, "Oh yes, so stylish. I love it. So well done." That completes Ivar's turn. That brings us back to the top of the initiative order, with the captain. The captain, with his eyes blackened, but with like a purplish glow around them, as the full effect of Ivar's command on the undead takes hold. The captain, shaking his head, knows what needs to be done. No. And he's going to take his rapier. He's going to make 3 rapier attacks against the bowman, who's already taken damage from an arrow. The bowman, meanwhile, has just taken the arrow and is grimacing at Nesca. And he just is ready to launch another bow, and he sees in his peripheral the captain approaching him. He doesn't pay it any mind because he didn't know what happened. And the captain approaches with a rapier. That is a natural 20. That is, what's his? That is a 18,
Obliterate.
and that is a 15. All three hit.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine if it hit you. Okay, let's see. I need to roll a bunch of d8s. Okay. That is 30 points of piercing damage. How do I want to do this?
Describe your kill.
The vampire captain brings out his rapier, and the vampire longbowman just turns as he sees his captain drawing his rapier, and with a flourish, the vampire looks at his and he says, "No, no!" And the vampire captain just starts to stab into this vampire's chest repeatedly, just go black ichor and gore just start to pour out of the vampire's body, and the life leaves his eyes. Not much there to begin with, but you get the idea. The vampire bowman falls down. He falls on top of his bow, snapping it, and the vampire captain stumbles back, confused, his sword falling limp to his side as he just stares down at his handiwork as he has slain one of his own men. Well, he did. And he did. That leaves blood-starved vampire and the captain. Does the captain get to make a wisdom saving throw at the end of its turn?
Nope. That's for hellish. That's for hellish crown. This is not that.
This is just control undead.
24 hours, or unless I choose to use channel divinity again. My pretty puppet.
All right. That brings up Jal. Jal, it is your turn.
So, aside from the captain that I just watched completely destroy one of the other vampires, we have, what'd you call it, like blood starved, something or another?
The dog, the last
Doggy
remaining
dog.
dog.
All right. Well, then I will use my movement to get parallel with the dog, leaving at least 5 feet between me and it. I would,
Okay.
if I could, I would like it to be me, the dog, the wall.
Yes, you can do that. Yep.
And I'm going to turn, look at the dog, kind of take this stance, look at it, just go, bad dog, and thrust my hand forward and Eldritch Blast it. So, number one,
Yes.
That's going to be a 16 to hit.
I can't imagine that misses. Yep, that hits.
All right, so that will be so 9 on the die. I'm going to use my Genie's Wrath feature on this turn, or on this attack. So 10, 11. That's 12 points of damage. Second
Okay, so
Eldritch
9
Blast.
9 plus 12.
No, 12 total.
Oh no, just
sorry.
12 total. Okay.
So second Eldritch Blast. That's going to be a 25 to hit. So
Got him.
D10, that would be 5 additional damage. And just because I'm going to use repelling blast on both of these, along with the crusher feature, to throw it 25 feet directly at the wall.
Okay.
And I just want to see what you're going to do with that.
Is there anything in terms of like an opposed like strength check, or is it just to get blasted?
No, it just gets blasted because warlocks are stupid. Actually, just to make it even worse, could it make a strength save?
Just to see what happens?
Yeah, just to see if I can make it that even 30
That is a
feet.
natural 1.
Yep, nope. So we're going to go total of 30 feet directly into the wall from
Okay.
point blank.
I think there's going to be a new canal in the sewers.
I'm going to find a secret room.
So just for the bludgeoning damage, I rolled 2d8 and I got 8. So it only had 7 hit points left. How do you want to do this?
Just quite literally that, just line right up, just bad dog, and just hit as I put my hand forward, a green energy rhinoceros just takes it as far into the stone as you say that it'll go. Just nice crater, and at the end of the 6 seconds of the round, Rhino dissipates and this thing just slumps down out of the crater in the wall.
I put a GIF in there. It doesn't really capture it, but you get the idea.
I want to give me the GIF.
I love it.
Yes.
You literally, who knows when is the next time a repair crew will be down in this area, this part of the tunnels. But when they eventually get down to repairing this side of the sewers, they are going to encounter a very odd channel that goes into the wall heading east, and heads towards, doesn't get all the way to the ocean, because it would have to move. I would have to move through the hold on. I know my own map. It would have to move through Merkden, and through the southern docks. But
Okay.
it gets like 120 feet knocked through, just
Oh my god.
as this thing is literally obliterated. Like the force of the blow kills it almost instantly, and then its corpse is just
Is somewhere down there.
It's over there, and up there.
Yeah. And just at the end of it, just the
is a
little
dead. It gone. That leaves the captain. At this point, given the fact that it obeyed the command, it fulfilled the command that it was given. Ivar, you now have a vampire captain under your thrall at this particular moment. We are technically out of combat. What would you like to do?
Ivar finishes cleaning the ashes from his sword before he slings it again. He takes a look at
you're sheathing it.
Yeah.
As you're sheathing the sword, the voice comes back into your mind, says, "Oh no, back in the sheath. No, don't put me back. No, there's so much more to do."
I look at the two of them. Well fought. Light shines bright within the both of you. And today, we are victorious. Not only that, but the Monitor has granted us the opportunity for knowledge through him. So, Ivar is just going to turn at the captain and say, "Come here." And just have him come to him And then he'll say, "Kneel, Captain."
He does so.
I've been looking for two people. Is there anyone alive within these sewers?
Given that you hold this vampire captain fully within your thrall,
Yeah.
its normal, glib, perhaps humorous or sarcastic response has gone. And he is instead fully in this moment penitent almost, and says, Who do you seek?
Matilda and Matteo are their names.
What do they look like?
One of them was a barmaid, human, brown hair, dazzling eyes.
I'm so sorry, Master. I must confess, I fed on so many barmaids.
Ivar just reaches for the throat of the to shut him up. And
He shuts
he lifts him back up, just leans in close. Tell me, who do you serve?
There is a pause as in this moment, this vampire, captain of this particular part of the Red Guard, sees Jal standing off the side with Nesca. I recognize you.
I get that a lot.
It's a pity you didn't join us when you had the chance. You will all fall. He is answering you, but there is a defiance in his voice. You will all fall. The queen rises, and above her, the dark princeling, Damien Moldark. And the moment he utters the name, he immolates in flame and falls into ash. And that is where we will end it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For those of you who are who will be watching this, hopefully on YouTube or whatever platform we can get this put on, because we were supposed to be on Twitch, but you know, OBS sucks and audio problems and video buffering, etc. Yeah, this has been a little fun excursion that we've had in the Undercity of Ashcaleen during a time of dark turmoil.